Well, good morning. Welcome to Justice for America. I'm Jim Moore, and this is episode number 93. It is a very important episode. We're going to be talking about three primary things, and as much time as we have, we'll go on to a few more. So we're going to talk about something that you're probably not going to believe is true. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. It's getting crazy enough to where the things that are happening in the world right now are almost impossible to believe. If you didn't see them in black and white, if you didn't hear them, if you didn't touch them, it would be like, oh, I just don't believe that. These things are not theories. We don't give you theories most of the time. We give you realities. Okay, so embryonic, harvesting embryos, listen very closely because this is not a misnomer, harvesting human embryos to power AI. Now, I'll get into that in just a minute. I'm sure, and again, I want to encourage you to comment as we're going along, say something. Just be nice, okay? But they have discovered a way. This is not, it is science, but it's not fiction, okay? They've literally discovered a way to take the energy from a human embryo and because human beings have electric impulses, I'm not going to try to explain it just yet, and harvest that electricity in order to power artificial intelligence. I kid you not. I'm going to show it to you right now in just a minute. It's crazy, crazy. All right. So the second thing is there has been a new weapon developed by the Russian government called the Poseidon. Some of you might remember the movie The Poseidon Adventure. It was about a ship called the Poseidon that kind of halfway sank, and the people are trying to get up. This is not that. This is what it is. I'll give you the abbreviated, and then we'll go into it. It's about a nuclear submarine. It is both, listen now, nuclear powered and can carry or carries a nuclear payload. Okay, nuclear powered is one thing. That's how it gets its propulsion. Nuclear armed with a nuclear warhead, that's completely different. That means that this missile can be a nuclear weapon. All right, and it does something different than any other missile or weapon that I'm aware of. We're going to get into that. And then the third one is we're going to talk about Biden. Is he going to leave office? Is he going to be out? Is he going to run? Is he going to be on the ticket? I'm going to tell you that no, he is not going to be running. At least that's what's being said. And I'm going to talk about a dream I had. So hang in there. Let's jump in right now. So Nikola Tesla made a prediction. Now, if you don't know who Nikola Tesla is, look him up, read about his stuff. He was where the idea of a quote-unquote mad scientist came from. It was him. That's how they invented the phrase. Because people thought his insight, not so much his inventions, because they couldn't deny the fact that his inventions were hundreds of years ahead of time, or not hundreds, but a couple, maybe hundreds. But his ideas, they said some of his ideas, he is insane. You cannot get electricity out of the sky, stick a light bulb in the ground and have it glow. He actually did that. You cannot do this. There are all kinds of things that he said would happen, and he actually drew plans for. It took a long time, but they're happening. So one of the things that he said, okay, this mad scientist, not mad scientist, why do we do that? Okay, can I just be real for a second? Why do you and I do that? Why is it when it's something that we haven't gotten a revelation on, or we don't understand, or we just choose not to believe it? It's too uncomfortable. We can't stretch our minds. Okay. Nikola Tesla uttered a phrase. Listen to what he said. He said, there will come a time we will live to see, I'm not quoting because I didn't write it down. He said, we will live to see horrors beyond comprehension. In other words, man-made horrors. He said, human beings will live to see by their own hands man-made horrors that are beyond their comprehensions. I'm about to tell you one of them. So, movies are often giving us a glimpse into what is possible. And I actually think that's a gift from God. I think sometimes the people that make some of these movies are demonic. I am a believer in demons. It's not a fairy tale, okay? I've seen them. They're real, okay? Just like angels are real, which almost all of you believe in, okay? Anyway, I think it is a gift from God sometimes when these things, they can either make you calloused and kind of condition you to think it's all fantasy. I'm thinking of The Matrix, okay? In the movie The Matrix, they found a way through AI, okay, listen now, through AI, they discovered a way to harvest small amounts of energy from human beings, okay? And literally and in this case, it's stem cells. Not all stem cells are bad. Stem cells taken from adults are fine, as far as we know, okay, as far as we know. It's crazy science, right? But they're good and they can bring healing, blah, blah, blah. But embryonic, that is demonic, that is butchery, that is murder, that is killing. I don't care how you fashion it according to people's rights. Nobody has a right to kill another human being in the womb or otherwise. Somebody, come on, somebody say amen. All right, nobody's saying anything, somebody say something. Say, that's good preaching, Jim. All right, so anyway, it is real. They're now, and it's being done. This isn't something that they might do in the future. Are you listening to me? All right, so I put down just one link on this, and I would ask you, if there's no other link you watch this one, as far as under this category. We have 3 categories today-ish, we might go longer, but this is one link for this first category, okay? Watch it. It's not that long. You need to know these things are happening. Why? Because God put you here so that you could pray and you could make a difference. Even if that's all you do is pray, all right? Faith, God bless you. Yeah, the Matrix and Terminator. So, there's a saying that says it's crazier than science fiction, okay? You can't make this stuff up. All right, so, is it right to grow? Now listen. You're just going to have to watch. This is Glenn Beck. He's a straight shooter. Is it right to fertilize a human egg with male sperm? I don't even think they have to do that anymore. And grow a fetus, which is a living human being. I put a thing on my Facebook the other day. You can go and watch it. Where at the moment the seed of a man goes into the seed of a woman, a burst of light comes out. And God actually said this. See, that book has all the answers, because that book is about God, and he ultimately is the author of that book. Okay? And this is what he said. He says, in him, Jesus, was life. That's when the seed enters the seed. And the life was the light of men. So now, because of technological advancements, we can watch what happens when the seed of a man, the sperm seed, goes into the seed of a woman. Okay? There's a burst of light that comes off. You see, that person is a human being at the point that the Spirit of God, at conception, when that burst of light happens. All right. So is it right to grow an embryo? Fasten whatever. I don't know how they do it. But to get electrical impulses out of that and gather up millions and millions of them in order to power artificial intelligence, or anything for that matter? No, of course not. You see, when you don't believe in God and you don't accept his moral standard, you keep going down the slippery slope, believing that you are God, and that gives you responsibility to keep doing anything you can do to what you think is bettering humanity, and really it is an abomination to the Lord. All right, let's go to number 2. Excuse me. So, let's see. This second one is about being on the cusp of World War III. Okay, being on the cusp of a global conflict. Now, I had a friend recently post something, and I want to be clear about why I talk about these things. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm not afraid. I'm not a Chicken Little. I'm not running through the streets with my hair on fire, crying the sky is falling. That's not what I'm doing. There are people that are making money off fear-mongering. Mongering. I say it right. You get what I'm saying? The more fearful they can make it look, you see it. They're using AI cartoons of people freaking out and they're on fire. Listen, that's all crazy. That's not what I'm doing. But there's always two conditions. Whenever something is happening in the world, be it good or bad, there's always two conditions: to dismiss it or to go crazy with it. My job as a communicator is not to dismiss it. Oh, that's just dumb. That's not really happening. You're just a fearmonger. Or to go crazy with it and just, be the Chicken Little with my hair on fire. Thank you, Christy. Come on, comment, you guys. All right, so do you remember George Washington? Some of you maybe have never heard this. It'll be the first time you've heard it. George Washington, you can look it up. It'll be on the internet. I believe it was a couple hundred years ago. I believe it was right before one of his battles. He's praying. He was a man of prayer. He's praying to God, and he has, I believe, if I get the story correct, it's been a while since I've looked it up, but it was an angelic visitation where a literal angel appeared before him, opened up his eyes. This happened in the Bible, and it's happened to people, many, many people. I know there's cessationists say this doesn't happen anymore. I feel sorry for you because it does. It happens to me. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, he had an open-eyed vision of 3 world wars before the return of the Lord Jesus. I'm not going to go into the whole story, but you can find it, you can read it. I personally believe we will see before the coming of the Lord, it's just my personal opinion, another final global conflict. Now, I'm not here to try to predict it and how it's going to look, and this one, Gog and Magog and all that. I'm going to let somebody else do that. All I'm going to say is my job to you is to help you get ready if you and I, because it's an if, are living in the time when this will happen. Okay, what if a nuclear bomb goes off on the East Coast? There have been people that I trust that have had dramatic visitations where they've seen this happen. Okay, right or wrong, good or bad, happen or don't happen, are you ready? That's my point. Hey, Jenny, thanks for that. The point is, you need to prepare your emotions and your heart before God and say, Lord, am I really ready? If everything goes into upheaval, listen, like it has in Ukraine. Those are just real people over there. They weren't expecting their whole world to be shattered. They're living in like a World War II kind of a scenario. They didn't see it coming, okay? People in Afghanistan, people in Nigeria, Christians are being slaughtered. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just saying, we have been so insulated in our country, we think it will never happen to us because we love God and God loves us. Listen, Israel thought that way, and they had multiple times it happened. It's happened to us in World War I, World War II. Now, it has been on our soil, but we sent a lot of our young men and women to perish. All right. So, number 1, okay, this is something I'm sure you have probably not. I hadn't heard of it myself. And one of the reasons you're not hearing about it is because what we call the legacy media. In case you're not sure what legacy means, we're talking about the guys that have been around for a long time. They have a legacy in media. ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNN, blah, blah, blah. The alphabet, we call them the alphabet. These guys have an agenda. They actually do. They actually say they do. They don't want to panic people. They want people to believe everything's going to be okay, everything's fine. And I believe that too. I just don't believe it's going to happen because, this guy's going to be president. If this guy gets elected, it's all going to go to pot. Okay, I believe because God says he will eventually, he's going to right it all. He did say it'll be like a woman going into travail before it happens. And anybody have babies? Any of you ladies out there have babies? Okay. What happens? You start having birth pains and they get worse and worse and closer together. Jesus is out of his own mouth said that's the way the end's going to be. They're going to be like birth pains. He literally, I didn't make this up. He said this. So they're going to be like birth pains. They're going to come faster and more intense until finally, boom, the kingdom of heaven is born. That means things on the earth are going to get really, really bad. I don't want them to get bad. I'm not saying we can't make a difference if we pray. I'm saying, are you ready? You hear what I'm saying? Christ Ambassador saying, honestly, I'm not ready for it. Thank you. You know what? I'm trying to be ready. I'm not sitting around crying in my soup and fearful and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just being right with God. going to him saying, the blood of Jesus, forgive my sins. I give my life to you, Jesus. I want to walk with you. I don't want to love sin. I don't want to be swept away in the things that happen to the wicked. I don't want any of that. I want Psalm 91. I want you to hide me in the shelter of your wings, and so on and so on. That, you know what I'm talking about. You don't, all you need to do is just do it. All right, so I got to hurry. Russia has a new weapon. Now, they've got some nuclear missiles. Satan 1 and Satan 2, that's not even what I'm talking about. This is a new one, okay? But they have these nuclear, they're super hypersonic. They can go from Russia to here in a matter of minutes and would be very difficult to stop. So, I'm not even talking about those. They hold the superior high card, as far as I know, in those. All right, but now, besides Satan 1 and Satan 2, these nuclear weapons that you could push a button and within 10 minutes or whatever, they could be on America and so on. There's another one. They just developed another one, and it's called the Poseidon. Okay? The Poseidon is an underwater nuclear missile. Okay, wrap your head around this. It is not a submarine, but it's kind of like a submarine. The whole thing, it's unmanned, okay? What do we have now? We have things that can be powered on their own. Okay, it is nuclear powered. It's kind of like an underwater drone, as it were. That's probably not accurate, but it travels about 70 miles an hour, and we don't have anything that underneath the water that goes that fast to catch it, so it couldn't catch it. Okay, the U.S. Navy is basically saying it's indefensible. We can't defend ourselves against this. Okay, and he holds the button. Okay, so they can fire it from anywhere in the ocean. So they can come off the coast of the United States or any other country, okay, the UK and so on. I think they've already threatened Britain with it. Anyway, it can be fired from underneath a polar ice cap, they say. Wow. Now, not only can it go up and then pretty quickly come down, okay, it's really hard to track and take down a missile, okay, that goes up and right back down. Or there's the whole EMP thing, which I won't go into, that you go up and it fires above the atmosphere and takes away all our electricity. Okay, and we go back to the Stone Age. There's that. Okay, but this does something unique. They can blow, now listen, they can blow it up underneath the water, and it will cause a tidal wave. It actually has the capacity, if it's blown up underneath in a certain depth of water, to create a tsunami. No kidding. It's not fantasy. They're not working on it. They have it. Okay? They have a working model. Okay? Are you getting? All right. Some of you need to say something here. Talk to me. All right? Are you listening? So, you say, well, how high? You're going to see it when this man explains it. It's pretty amazing. They estimate, most tsunamis are 200 or 300 feet high, and they cause devastation. Remember the one that happened like the day after Christmas a decade ago, Indonesia someplace. I don't remember the details, but I think the tsunami was like 100, 150 feet high. Don't quote me. That's average, a couple 100 feet high. This can create a tsunami 1,500, it's their estimate, 1,500 feet high. That's as high as the Empire State Building. That means if one went off in the Oregon coast, that tsunami would not stop until it reached the Cascade Mountains. Okay. All right. Now, take a deep breath. Okay. God is in control, right? Okay. We're all going to perish at one day. It might be that way. It might be old age. I don't know. For me to live is Christ, to die is gain. You have to settle this issue in your heart. I'm going to do what I'm called here to do. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm not going to pretend it's not happening either, because that's what we call denial. And every psychologist in the world will tell you denial is really, really unhealthy for you. Okay? So there's a difference, right? So courage is knowing what you're facing and facing it in faith and without fear. Okay. All right, so I put it, there's one link, I put two links. One is from, I forget who was doing it. you really need to watch these links. Okay, if you're listening to this on my podcast, you're going to need to go to YouTube. You can go to YouTube and find the video, or Facebook, and you can find, I put all these links down. I do the work to put what we call the receipts, so you can look them up. Okay, and you can see we're not making this stuff up. All right, so if the first one is a link, let's see, I forgot to write down who did it. The second one is from Naval News. It is people from the U.S. Navy are giving it, okay, and they talk about the Poseidon. Again, this has been around. It's not like brand new, but the regular media doesn't want you to know. Why don't they want you to know? Because they don't think you are smart enough not to panic or freak out. I think you are. At least I think most of you are. All right. Real quick, a few more here, not about the Poseidon, but many of you know that North Korea, Russia, and China are becoming lovebirds. They're all coming together. They are the lunatic fringe. Okay, it's just true. There was a couple meetings recently where Kim Jong-un, Vladimir Putin came to, you see, Russia's they want to be the world power. They absolutely do. They always have. And China, same thing. And North Korea, same thing. These guys know they can't do it by themselves, so they're making a pact. This is a satanic pact, okay? It is. And so Putin went to Kim Jong-un went to Russia, and then now Putin just recently went to North Korea. And you should see these two guys. They are like lovebirds. They're hung at each other, and they're just like best buddies. You know the thing they have in common? They hate the U.S. And Kim Jong-un has made multiple propaganda videos that he shows his people of them firing nuclear weapons and destroying the United States. Okay. I'm just saying, don't be dumb, don't be stupid. I know you're not. Okay, there are a lot of people that are. Okay, so a couple of those, and let's go down to the third one now about Biden and will he run? I have given a dream that I've had a number of times over the internet. It's public. I have no apologies about it. I am not giving a very specific interpretation of it. Thank you, Christ ambassadors. I really appreciate that. The dream I had, I'm just going to give you the ultra cliff note. The dream I had, President Biden was out. Okay, in the dream he passed away. But typical dream language doesn't necessarily mean physical passing away. Could mean a number of things. But the point is he didn't run for office. Okay? So I'm not 100% saying that's a dream from God. If this doesn't happen, if he doesn't... I mean, it looked like for a long time, because I actually had this dream 4 years ago. It looked like for a long time there's no way that would happen, but his cognizant decline, his physical decline, his mental decline, all of the mistakes that he's made, I'm going to tell you about a couple of them. You've probably seen recently they're making, they go crazy with this stuff. The right goes crazy with the left, and the left goes crazy with the right. They really do. They show these videos over and over to him stumbling, him freezing. I'm thinking now the debate between Donald Trump and President Biden, if those are two choices, I'm voting for Trump, 100%, because I cannot abide voting for Biden. Now, if somebody else comes in Biden's place, we'll have to take a look at that. I'm just saying. That's my prerogative. That's your prerogative. Okay, don't let somebody talk you into something. You do what you feel like is right. So the presidential debate is happening in 1 week from today, next Thursday. And I believe, in my opinion, that will determine whether he stays in the race. That's my opinion. Now, the links that I put down here, a couple of them are Democratic insiders, anonymous Democratic insiders, who the person that's making the video personally knows, okay, so they're not just hearing it from somebody, are saying, oh no, we're looking for ways, we're trying to figure out how to do this because he can't run. He can't run the country. He probably isn't going to win because everybody knows he's doing a horrible job, except for people whose brains have just checked out. Okay. So, just saying. All right. So, I think a couple of the videos you've seen recently where Biden has looked like he's just frozen. Yeah, I'm doing that on purpose, for effect. Frozen. Not like the Disney movie. I actually believe he's under medication Okay, now I could put a fine point on it and use other words, but I do believe that it has become difficult enough. And I've heard some people say this is elder abuse, and I frankly have to agree with that. It's not right. My wife, Linda's saying all the time, where's his wife? Why isn't his wife protecting him? Okay. Anyway, I think it's gotten difficult enough for him to do his job that he is under probably a serious amount of medication that the public doesn't know anything about. If you don't think that happens, if you think we just know everything about everything, you're wrong. Okay, so our whole foundation has been built upon telling people what you think they ought to know so that they won't panic. All right, so insider sources say there's going to be somebody else coming. We'll find out. One of the mistakes, let me just go through a couple real quick. I didn't show the frozen ones because you've probably already seen them. A couple of times now, the President, Biden, has gotten up and saying when he's arguing for taking away some of our gun rights, Second Amendment, and yes, putting reasonable limitations, but also unreasonable limitations. Don't have time to go into that. One of the things he says, this is a huge mistake for a president to say. He says, why do you people think that if you want to overthrow the government, you're going to be able to do it with rifles when we have F-15s and tanks? Come on. President Biden, are you listening to me? Okay. What a stupid thing to say. You don't tell the citizens of the United States that they have no recourse. I mean, the Second Amendment was not given so people could go hunting. It was given to protect the citizens from the government. And what he's saying is that doesn't apply anymore because we have bigger guns than you. What a stupid, stupid thing to say. Okay? So that's a big mistake. All right? And then the next one we've got here, I'm going to give you some things that are really hard to hear. Okay. These are going to be hard to hear. Thank you, Christ, and thank you, Jenny. They're saying we have a right to defend ourselves. One of the most basic God-given rights, life. Our framers of our Constitution didn't make it up. They just acknowledged what was already known to humankind. We hold these truths to be self-evident. In other words, everybody knows them. That every human has the right to life. These aren't United States rights, they're human rights. Life, to stay alive. You have a right to protect yourself and your kids and your family to stay alive. Life, liberty, freedom. Nobody gets to make you a slave. And the pursuit of happiness. You get to do what makes you happy unless you're infringing on someone else's basic rights. Okay, that's what it is. It's not that complicated. We need to come back and look at these documents. These guys were really anointed by God to write these things. Okay, you have the right, in my opinion, to protect yourself. It doesn't matter if it's a gun. These countries that have abolished guns, the criminals kill each other with knives and machetes and bombs. Okay, it doesn't mean that there won't be violence. Now, you don't have a right to be violent to someone else for no apparent reason, but you do have a right. I'm going to say it very plainly. Are you listening to me? You have a God-given right, not only a right, but a God-given responsibility to protect your family. If you want to turn the other cheek, which Jesus talked about, there are times that is appropriate. If you want to lay down your arms and say, here I am, take me to heaven, I'm ready to go. That's your prerogative, but not when it comes to your family. If someone breaks into your house and they've got a machete or a machine gun and they say, hey, I am going to abuse, I'm not going to say the word, actually I am. If I'm going to rape your wife and your children in front of you, like what happened in Israel recently, okay, if you do not do something to defend them, I would say you're going to be in trouble with God. All right, so what has our president allowed? Now, I'm not mocking him. I'm not, I have a responsibility before God to pray for leaders. Okay, the Bible is pretty specific about how you treat your leaders. You can speak against their policies, and you can say what they're doing is wrong, but that's about the end of it. You cannot curse them. Okay, so the things that I'm about to tell you are things that actually he is responsible for, in my opinion, and I believe I have the Spirit of the Lord on this, because he knows they're happening. People say, oh, he doesn't know what's happening. He just gets up in the morning and eats his cornflakes, and they tell him what to say and do. Don't you believe it for a minute. Don't you believe it for a minute that the ruler of the free world, as he is called, because he does have global impact, doesn't know what's happening. He may not know it all, but he does know the really important stuff. He knows the people that have been coming across our border. This is the number one issue among the vast majority, 70, 80, 90% of Americans, is what's happening at the border. Not because we don't care about immigrants, not because we don't care about mommies and their little children coming and having a better place to live. We are a country of immigrants. We always have been. We just said, you got to do it the right way, because just like you care about the mommy and the baby out on the walkway, right? I met a mommy and her baby from another country in Walmart the other day, and the lady was looking for help because she needed to buy. She had a little baby and her baby was sick. I could see the baby was sick. She needed medicine. She didn't have any money. I wanted to help her because I care about that. But I'm not going to open the front door to my house to the 50 people that are standing out front and go, I love you all. Please come into my house. Yeah, that's stupid. Okay? So again, this stuff is common sense. It's how we've always operated. This is not us against them. This is policy against policy. Do you get that? Because it actually hurts the people coming in, and it hurts people who are here. Not everybody's the same. I get that. But we are seeing an incredible, I can't even keep up with them. I'm not even sure I got all these links marked correctly, because I'm having a hard time keeping up with criminal elements that have come in across the border because of the border's been open, because the president says it can be. That, don't make any mistake. It's not all these other guys who answer to him. It's him. The buck stops there. Okay. And he'll be held accountable. Yeah. Anyway. So a 13-year-old girl, you've probably seen this on the news, was raped in broad daylight by an illegal immigrant. I know you don't want to watch it. Okay? I'm a Christian. I take no pleasure in these. As a matter of fact, they disgust me. Sometimes I get nauseous. And I'm not out there looking for the really bad stuff. I see the stuff that is palatable. Okay? Some of you know what I mean by that. I don't like it. But I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to put my head in the sand, because I have the Spirit of God in me. And here's my thesis right here. Here's my thesis. Here's my whole thing right here. Are you ready for this? And you want to write this down, put it on your refrigerator, tattoo it on your forehead, do whatever. If it matters to God, it matters to me. Now, I can't carry the cross of every issue. I can't carry the weight of every burden. I can't do that. But I also can't just go, oh, I can't do anything about it. And, I'm only supposed to think about good things, which is a Bible verse, but it's not the only Bible verse. Okay? The Bible also says that you're supposed to care about the oppressed and the afflicted and those who have injustice being done to them. Why is it that we go to one thing and we pick one scripture and that's it, and then we just dismiss everybody else? No. Listen, if it matters to God, are you listening? Somebody write this down. Let me know you're listening. If it matters to God, it matters to me. And this little teenage girl's being assaulted in broad daylight by someone who is illegally in the country, that matters to God. Are you listening to me? So, Jim, don't get so worked up. I get worked up because I think we've become so desensitized we don't want to see this stuff anymore. And I'm not saying be profane about it. That's not what I'm saying. All right. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. I got to get a t-shirt that says that. Maybe one of you guys buy me a t-shirt. If it matters to God, it matters to me. I got to quit. Okay. So there is a sheriff from Hartford County, is Sheriff Galler, I don't know for sure. He reveals that these illegal aliens that are sexually assaulting women are numerous. They're numerous, okay? Here's one, a guy who he followed a woman home. Sorry. A mom of 5. Oh, we're not supposed to think about this stuff. God. I'm telling you honestly, I get disgusted when I hear, especially Christians, say this. You'd care if it were your mom. All of a sudden, you would suddenly care about it. Okay? Well, who are we? What are we? Anyway, I'm ranting, I know. follows a woman home, mother of 5, beautiful young woman, sexually assaults her in her own home, kills her, and then leaves. Actually, a videotape of him walking. Oh, he's an illegal. Oh, he was wanted in his former country, I think it's Honduras or Salvador, for doing the same thing. Oh, we didn't check him. Oh, the president let him in at the border. Oh, it's his responsibility. Now, they might come for me, but I'm still going to tell the truth because it is the truth. I know a lot of you, I've lost you. So sorry. All right. Okay, here's another one. Mother of 5. Another one, Honduras. Another one, Salvador. Make sure you watch the satire one I put in here. They're asking the question, is there anything that Donald Trump could do to make you lose your support for him? And then they give a list of things, every one which has been done by our current president. It's funny, but it's like, okay. Actually, I'm done. I have so many more things that I want to show. I'm just going to end by saying this today. You're not going to like everything that I pointed out to you, and there's 2 or 3 of these that are must-watches. I want to admonish you, as I've done in the past. I don't do this every time, but I want to admonish you to watch every single. Some of them are super short, like less than a minute. Some of them are like it's just a picture. You click on, you see a picture. You might have to download X. You might have to download Rumble. You might have to download. Boo! Just do it. Okay, download it and then uninstall it, whatever you got to do, but watch them. Watch them. Some of them already been taken down. Some of these are being taken down as quickly as they get up. There's one on there that it was showing a photograph of a pride parade. Listen, I'll say this real quick. Don't you think for a minute that what you see on TV about the pride parade is what's actually happening in these pride parades. It is debauchery that would make Sodom and Gomorrah blush. I'm not kidding. Okay, it is abominable, not the snowman, abominable perversions. Now listen, who gets to say whether it is or isn't? God. If you want to say your opinion, that's fine. If you want to say it's all okay and it's normal and everybody doesn't, blah, 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 you go right ahead. But I'm going to say what God said about it so I can stand in front of him one day and not go, well, we evolved, God. It's, we evolved. Now we're way more tolerant, blah, blah, blah. No. He said it's an abomination. He said it's perversion. He hasn't changed. He said, I'm the Lord your God. I do not change. Hebrews, Jesus Christ, the same yesterday, today, and forever. Every single one who is watching this program, you're going to stand in front of God, and he's going to say, why didn't you believe what I said about this and this and this and this? So the picture was of a little child. Now it's blurred out, but as a little child, completely unclothed, on her bicycle, among an entire whole bunch. It's just a parade. It's a parade going down your city street. Everybody's nude. People are performing acts of perversion. I am not kidding you. Okay. I would to God that people would wake up. So, Jim, what are we supposed to do? There's nothing we can do. Okay. Well, you can stand before the Lord and tell him that. I'm doing what I know to do. You don't have to do what I do. I think one of the reasons God invented, as it were, prayer is because it is the one thing every person can do. And we won't even do that. Okay? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying this is the truth. I hope you listen. I hope you share with somebody. This may not stay up, okay? But, again, not doing it to make people afraid, but to make you aware so that then it's between you and God how you respond to that. You and I are called to live lives of victory in the midst of darkness. Isaiah 61, gross darkness, it says, going to cover the earth. But the light of God is going to rise brighter and brighter and shine, not just on you, but through you. You want to be a burning and shining lamp, burning on the inside so you can shine on the outside. All right. God bless you guys. Love you. Share this. Literally share this. Go back and comment again. If you're watching on any of the video outlets, please subscribe and hit the notification button. Those are the 2 things that make the biggest difference. Share it with somebody. That's huge. And help people to see the world. Listen, let me just say, I'll say one final thing. You're created to live in this world at this time for a reason. Some people don't know that about themselves. A lot of people just wish they were somewhere else, in another time zone. I get it. I'd like to live in a different time. I'd like to live in the days of Jesus or cowboys. You get what I'm saying? They don't know that they're literally have purpose here. Help them. Help them see it. Okay? We're not looking to escape. We're not looking to run away. We're looking to help people find their way to the Son of God. Not to the universe, okay? Not to every other substitute, but to the way, the truth, and the life. Amen. All right. Thanks for listening, you guys. Thanks for putting up with my rants. I'm just one guy, okay? But my opinion matters just like yours does. So, all right. Love you all. God bless you and give yourself permission to have a great day. Bye-bye.